From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fbx Evening News.
What we filed was a document claiming newly discovered evidence that established the actual innocence of our clients.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. Our top story, a confession along with a slew of new evidence, is on the table tonight, and they may well prove that 4 Fairbanks men have been wrongly convicted of the 1997 murder of John Hartman.
That's right, Daryl. Attorneys for the Alaska Innocence Project filed paperwork at the Rabinowitz Courthouse in Fairbanks today, asking for the release of Marvin Roberts and his co-defendants, known by many as the Fairbanks 4.
Now, the men have been in prison for the past 15 years, and now someone else is confessing to the crimes.
But that isn't all the evidence this document presents. News Center 11's Nikki Carvajal has more.
Hallelujah. This is 16 years of a nightmare for me. And this is the happiest day of my life. Well, when they come home, it'll be the happiest one. Right now, you can't imagine how happy I am.
There were tears of joy today outside the Rabinowitz Courthouse as lawyers for the Alaskan Innocence Project announced their findings.
And we give you thanks this afternoon that this long night is ending and it's sunrise and the daylight's coming.
The documents allege the murder of John Hartman was committed by 5 other men and include a confession from William Holmes. Holmes says he committed the crime on October 10, 1997, along with Jason Wallace, Rashawn Brown, Marquez Pennington, and Shelmar Johnson.
We have a fair amount of corroboration on factual statements that Holmes made in the document. And we also raise questions as to evidence from the original trials that now I think, now that we know what actually happened, we can say, wow, that was bad evidence in the trial, and we have scientific proof that it was bad evidence.
No charges have been filed against the men, and the district attorney's office still has to review the 131-page filing. However, people who have been working to free the Fairbanks 4 are cautiously optimistic.
The system failed so horrendously in this case that it would be foolish to expect the system to suddenly work perfectly. So I don't have faith in that, but I do have faith in just the ordinary, citizens of our community and human beings in the world to ensure that the system works right.
And for family members, just knowing that Eugene Vent, Kevin Peace, Marvin Roberts, and George Fries are one step closer to coming home is enough.
The pain of having him being in there is going to go away now.
Nikki Carvajal, News Center 11.
All right, we are joined now with court reporter for News Center, the News Center team, Nikki Carvajal. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Nikki, so tell us, how did this come about after 15 years?
Well, this actually all started about a year ago is when the actual confession was made. Marvin Roberts contacted Holmes and told him that he was in prison for a crime that he did not commit and heard that he might have information on it. Now, prior to this, the Alaskan Innocence Project lawyers had already contacted him and he had declined to speak with them. But after Roberts reached out to him personally in a letter, that's when Holmes was finally willing to speak.
Wow. Very well. Now, my question is, to what benefit does this confession bring to Holmes? As I understand, he's already incarcerated for life in another murder conviction.
He is, yeah, and it actually doesn't bring him any benefit. He is not getting a reduced sentence in any way. He wasn't up for the death penalty. A lot of people have been speculating things like that. Nothing like that. He just wanted to clear his conscience.
What's, clearing conscience, but what also about the reward that they were offering for any information that led to, new information coming out?
That's something else that people have been speculating about as well, but that money is going unclaimed. It's not being touched.
Very good.
Wow.
Final question for you tonight, Nikki, regarding the process from this point. Obviously, the state has to counter with some sort of a response.
They do, yeah. They have a certain amount of days, I believe it's 45 days they have to actually respond to the document that's been filed. And then after that, it's going to be a really long process.
Yeah,
Wow.
I would imagine.
The document itself is also, if you want to check it out, it's available on our website at webcenter11.com, so check it out for yourself.
Great work, Nikki. Thank you so much. And welcome back to the Fairbanks Evening News. 2 men died and another is presumed dead after an 18-foot skiff swamped on the Yukon River downriver from Alukkanuk in southwest Alaska. The bodies of 29-year-old Daniel Noble and 50-year-old Cyril Murphy were recovered. 24-year-old Stanton Shelton is missing. A fourth man, 21-year-old John Chickagak, was able to swim to shore. Chickagak told state troopers their boat's hull was cracked Monday night. They attempted to bail incoming water, but decided to pull the drain plug on this boat. The boat's motor was not strong enough to make the boat plane, and it swamped and sank.
The federal government has announced it is dropping guidelines for federal purchases of seafood that could have excluded Alaska salmon from national parks and military bases. The announcement came just before a hearing chaired by U.S. Senator Mark Begich. Following that hearing, the National Park Service officials indicated they fully support the new guidelines. Walmart Senior Director Jeff Rice also voiced support for sustainability standards. Begich said he welcomes GSA's announcement that they are in favor of relying on national standards for fishery management.
They're mad at me, and I get that. They're mad at Alaska. I get that. You know, they don't like the fact that we don't want to use their certification because honestly, they charge a lot of money, and I'm not sure what the full value is. And there's inconsistency. We have different organizations. Monterey Bay is another one, and we can kind of go through the list.
The Fairbanks Resource Agency and the Alaska Mental Health Trust Authority have teamed up in creating the Tanana Valley SIDS group. TV SIDS offers information and networking resources for adult siblings of individuals with a disability for free. Some of the topics the group concerns itself with are medical care, guardianship, housing, financial assistance, transportation, and much more. The group meets every fourth Wednesday of each month from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Fairbanks Resource Agency. The program started 6 months ago and is still developing. The founder and coordinator of the program says their presence is to see what Fairbanks and surrounding areas' needs are.
Siblings that have a sibling with a disability are strong people. I feel like they like to do things on their own. So basically how to obtain those services. So what's the, where to go, how to get that process started, how to complete the applications, because that's always a really difficult part of the process. And then just talking through that. So providing information. And then those siblings who have already done all that, we are welcoming them to share their experience so that we know what to do.
Students with the University of Alaska Fairbanks College of Liberal Arts are preparing for a showcase this week. The showcase is to be held on Friday in the Great Hall at 4:30 p.m. Now it will feature all aspects of the program and all that it offers to students at the university. Music, literature, debates, and theater will all be putting together pieces to highlight at the show. The Dean of the College of Liberal Arts says the showcase will help spread awareness about the program.
We wanted a way to showcase what we do here on campus in the College of Liberal Arts. A lot of people don't quite know what we are about. UAF has very good art representation. Music, theater, art, computer art, we do film. So we are in this community very active. And the state itself has a high percentage of people creating art.
Now, we will have more on the College of Liberal Arts and their event tomorrow during That's Interiortainment.
The 472nd Military Police Company has a new commander who will lead them through a deployment. News Center 11's Tyson Paris Hansen has more in our military report.
During a change of command ceremony, Captain Michael Roby sized up the soldiers of his new company. He accepted command of the 472nd Military Police Company yesterday on Fort Wainwright as they are actively deploying to the Pacific.
The 472nd will be doing a deployment to Guam in support of Task Force Talon, which was deployed last April in the midst of North Korea and the increased tensions going on there. We'll be providing on-site security at Anderson Air Force Base.
The police force will be about 100 soldiers, and nearly 2/3 have already deployed. Captain Roby will ship off with the rest in the next day or two. Even though he is new to the company, he says the team is ready for their mission.
Typically, I'd like about 30 days to kind of do the change of command and get to know the soldiers. With how quickly this mission came down, though, it's pretty much did the change of command inventories, doing the change of command today, and pretty much getting ready to just hop on a bird and head down there. So the unit is structured in such a way that no one individual will really slow it down, so it'll be a smooth transition, but I would like more time.
His predecessor, Captain Kimberly DeFiore, officially passed him the company colors, a gesture that signifies the change of command and her farewell.
It's definitely an accomplishment. I got to command the company for a year, lead soldiers, and just a lot of good training, especially here in Alaska. Keeping them safe and making sure they train to standard it's tough, but it's definitely rewarding seeing them all together today.
The 472nd Military Police was reactivated at Fort Wainwright in 2008. This deployment to Guam could last between 3 to 6 months. Tyson Paris Hansen, News Center 11.
The Military Report is brought to you by Stanley Nissan. Innovation for all.
Really packed newscast tonight.
Very packed newscast.
Yeah.
Lots of new developments.
Sure. And in sports, too. I mean, Joe coming up next after the break. He has information about the Nanook hockey team, the WCHA preseason, their first year in it. Wow. The rankings are out, and you'll see how the Nanooks stack up.
Also, he has some high school volleyball, and you'll get to see last night's highlights and more. Joe Cook, always busy, and coming up next.
Hello, Interior Alaska. Joe Cook here in the Sports Seat for you this evening for your Wednesday sports. And tonight we start with Nanook hockey. The Nooks had their first practices this week at the Patty Ice Arena before they take the ice for the blue and gold game this Saturday at the Patty. They also have an exhibition game with the University of British Columbia Thunderbirds on October 5th in the Carlson. It's a young but experienced roster. Sophomores John Keeney, who had a great season at goalie, is back, as is Tyler Morley, the fourth leading scorer from a year ago, and key defenseman Colton Pareko. The team brings back senior leadership in Cody Kunick, Colton Beck, and Michael Quinn for their last hurrah. Some of the newcomers aren't new to Fairbanks, as Jared Linnell from North Pole and Justin Woods, a Fairbankson, are former Ice Dogs. They are 8 freshmen, 9 sophomores, 7 juniors, and 3 seniors on the team that enter its first season in the new WCHA under 6-year head coach Dallas Ferguson, who says it comes down to what his team can control.
Our focus is to be ready to go for game one, and that's kind of the same focus regardless of who we're playing. So it's kind of neat to be a part of it, but at the same time, I don't think we want to allow that to be a distraction or dictate anything. We still got to go out and play hockey and compete hard and play as a team.
So far, we've been a real tight group. I like everyone on the team. Everyone's a good guy to be with, and I have really high expectations for this group. I know everyone does, and I'm pretty sure we'll be able to live up to them.
I know we have high expectations on ourselves, and we want to win the WCHA the first year in the league. So that's what we're striving for each and every day. We're going to take it one day at a time, but that's our end of the year goal.
And the Nanooks finished 17-16-4 overall last year, in 5th place with a 12-13-3-1 record in their last season in the CCHA. Now let's take a look at some WCHA preseason polls. Yesterday, media members in the Bemidji Pioneer WCHA preseason media poll picked Alaska to finish 3rd in the conference. Ferris State was picked 2nd and received 2 first-place votes. Minnesota State is the favorite to win the WCHA with 22 first-place votes. UAA was predicted to finish 9th. And today, the Nanooks were picked 5th in the Mankato Free Press WCHA coaches poll. Minnesota State was picked 1st, followed by Ferris State and Michigan Tech by a mere point. Then Bowling Green. UAA was still picked 9th. For preseason all WCHA teams, senior center Cody Kunick and sophomore defenseman Colton Pareko were selected. Minnesota State's Matt Lintner was named preseason player of the year. Freshman Zach Steppen was preseason rookie of the year, and Fairbanks' own Stephon Williams from Lathrop was named preseason goaltender of the year. WCHA schedule starts November 1st at home when UAF takes on Northern Michigan. Now some high school volleyball action last night. Lathrop's Joe T. Court had a first. The Malamutes hosted the North Pole Patriots. Lathrop was about their business in the first set. They led 19-10 and captured that lead, and they won 25-16. In the second set, Lathrop rallied and will go up 2-0 with the 25-22 win. DeShonta West had a monster game with 15 blocks, 12 solo for Lathrop. The Patriots came back 11-3 in the third set, and they won that 25-12. The momentum continued with senior Kayla Ching leading all players with 11 kills and hitting at 33%. Patriots win 25-16 to force a fifth and final set. Lathrop put it on the service line. Song Epson served well. The senior setter served 8 straight points. North Pole climbed back into it to make it 13-11, but Epson served the last 2 decisive points. Lathrop wins 3-2 with a 15-11 win in the fifth. It's the first win on Joe T. Court for the Malamutes. It was being renovated last volleyball season. In the first MAC win of the season, they are 2-3 and 1-1 in conference.
I was trying to look for their weaker passers, and I noticed that they're sitting really deep, so as long as I kept serving it short, they weren't getting to it, so I kept going, but they weren't adjusting. So
they were fired up and they were ready to go, and they had some good points, and then we got tight. We got a little worried there. So we just needed to loosen up and play every point, and it just got away from us.
Being able to defend your home gym means a lot to the girls. They're in front of their crowd, their parents, their friends, their family, and when you have them have that chance, they're amazing when they actually get it.
And finally tonight we have our weekly Pro Football Challenge winner, and the winner is Glenn Lee from North Pole. Glenn got 13 out of 16 picks right and picked Chicago to win 28-24 over Pittsburgh. That final was 40-23 Chicago. Glenn gets an oil change from Stanley Nissan. And looking at the PFC standings, Gary Bodette is tied with Glenn Lee with 37 picks. Robert and Jiggity follow with 36 and 35. Mike Schultz and I are tied with 23 others at 32. 33 people are tied with 29 right picks. Fred Brown, though, he's below them with 27. And that'll do it for sports tonight, but come back for the sports nightcap for some midweek high school football highlights. Stay cool, Alaska. Mike Schultz has your full weather forecast coming up next, and we'll catch you next time.
Hey guys, welcome back into the Fbx Evening News. It's time once again for weather. I'm Mike Schultz, and look at this photograph I've got behind me. This is a beautiful one. Look at the golden colors all the way down to the lake. Of course, this is Oldness Pond, and this was sent in by Catherine Doslin. And again, if you have a photograph to share with us, by all means send it to me at Mike Schultz at KTVF11.com. What's going on at the airport right now? It's 54 degrees after a high of 57. Wasn't expecting that warm a temperature. It was nice though, 34 last night. Record high in 1929, 70 degrees that day. Record low in 1983, down to 14 degrees for the overnight low. Sunrise and sunset, not quite 12 hours of daylight. That's a loss of 6.5 minutes from yesterday. Here's our satellite picture, and you can see lots of moisture spreading across the entire state, and most of it has already moved past the Fairbanks area. It's all staying south of the Alaska Range. That's where we're just expecting just a few sprinkles, and that's about it. And after that, things look even better. Temperatures once again warming up, looking good. What's going on across the rest of the state? Well, we have some rain falling around the Anchorage Bowl area. Other than that, mainly cloudy to partly cloudy skies over the southwest portion of the state. Over southeast Alaska, some sunshine around Ketchikan, 58 degrees. Cloudy skies at Fort Yukon, also the same at Barrow. Lower 48 weather tonight looks like this. Again, just partly cloudy to cloudy skies over the northwest part of the country, while the central plains look pretty good. Lots of sunshine there. Thunderstorms still rumbling over the eastern seaboard, and over the northeast, it looks like lots of sunshine at New York, too. On the satellite radar, you can see a little bit of activity moving across the eastern and southeastern sections of the country, and then another storm system expected to bring snow at the higher elevations of the northern Rockies tonight. And the overall outlook for the jet stream, it becomes what we call zonal. In other words, going west to east at a pretty good rate. And that means all the warmth will continue to flow across much of the country, with nice weather expected over the southeast and showers across the Great Lakes. Well, back to Alaska for tomorrow. Here's what it looks like in the northern sections. Partly cloudy skies at Barrow and Nome, mostly cloudy skies for Fort Yukon. Here in the interior, we'll be looking at, for the most part, morning fog at Fairbanks and cloudy skies in Delta and Hebe. Over southeast Alaska, lots of rain expected there. Periods of rain for Juneau and Ketchikan. While out to the southwest, a wet forecast there also. Rain and wind for Cold Bay, rain in Kodiak, and rain is likely for Bethel. While over the south central regions, looking at rainy periods for Anchorage and Valdez, and showers expected for Homer. Okay, time once again for our kids' weather. And this week we're talking with the kids from Tickasuk Brown Elementary School. Tonight we have a young man and a young lady to give you a weather fact.
My name is Reagan. I'm in 3rd grade and I go to Tickasuk Brown. Here's a weather fact. Did you know?
Hi, I'm Kate and this is the weather fact. In 1959, the first weather satellite was placed into the orbit.
I like the idea of a tag team giving us a weather fact. It's pretty cool. Thanks again to Mount McKinley Bank for always helping us with our kids' weather. Tomorrow night, the teacher's going to be here with another interesting weather fact. Here's your forecast for the remainder of the night. 35 degrees, mostly cloudy skies, a little fog is possible. And tomorrow's forecast calling for morning fog and then just mainly cloudy skies for the rest of the day, 48 degrees. The extended forecast still calling for temperatures to be very comfortable on Friday. Not too bad for Saturday and Sunday, maybe some showers late Sunday into Monday, and then partly cloudy to cloudy skies. Also, temperatures once again will be very comfortable for this time of year, as the daytime high is usually around 49 degrees and the overnight low around 31. So right about where we should be. Maybe a little cooler by Monday and Tuesday.
That seems like, you know, an improvement from last night. I saw 20s last night, so I will take that.
Yep.
Yeah, that wasn't bad at all. And, you know, perfect. I know that there was plenty of people down there at the Rabinowitz Courthouse today, and so weather conditions were perfect for that.
Yes, it was. So. No wind to worry about either.
Yeah, that was definitely good weather for them.
Yep. Okay, thanks, guys. That will wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. As always, we are glad you could join us.
NBC Nightly News is coming up next with Brian Williams.
Remember to join us here 6 days a week at 6 and 11 or online anytime at webcenter11.com.
Okay, from all of us here at the News Center, we hope you have a great night.
Good night.